Hello and welcome back to Remnant 2. Last time we fought a giant rip monster here on Yaesha, and we made it here to the Forbidden Grove, where before we can play this sick harp, we actually have to go fix a machine. Exhilarating. I'm glad there was something over here, because I just kind of impulse ran over here. I saw the ledge and my mind was just like, climb that. And the rest of me is just like, oh, okay, that sounds about right. You're the brain, you kind of lead the operation. What kind of dungeon do we have here? Faithless Thicket. Hey! It's a, blood moon. So like I said last episode, what you do is you shoot the little glowy pink things, and then they come flying towards you and you get blood moon essence. And the thing here, I can't run all the way back to the previous dungeon, and I don't think I can even teleport, because it has a chance of just turning off in the next load zone. So it's kind of a, if you have it and you go into a dungeon with a blood moon effect in it, lucky. If not, tough. It is not a forgiving system, but realistically, you might be running this a few times. So, you have your chances. And you can always just sit here and actually try to farm the event. Because it's not like limited time or only showing up once per run. It's just keep loading and unloading, you'll eventually get it again. You gotta keep an eye out because the wisps will move around. And so finding them and kinda shooting them is important. And that's why, like I did, if you can pop them from a distance, do it. Just to make this job a little bit easier. Before we go into any dungeons, I'm going to try to clear out as much as possible. Just because I don't want to miss out on potential blood moon, the blood essence. I don't need it, but it's still nice to have. If you're gonna get anything besides the item to make the summoner class, I'd say go for the armor. Is it good? Kinda. There's definitely better armor sets, but sometimes if you're like me and you're trying to operate at like a 50 weight limit, you can maybe squeeze a little bit more weight somewhere if you don't have a bunch of other armor sets you can draw from. Like if I had all the other armor sets from Remnant 1, I wouldn't be too concerned. You hold still. I need to deal with everything else at the moment. Yeah, that slow is just beastly. But it feels like it's definitely... It has a reduced effect on bosses, because they don't move nearly as slow as that. I think it might be, like, halved. Which is completely understandable to do. I would actually be shocked if this game were to allow, like, full slow or stasis. They don't allow stasis on bosses, unfortunately. That's kind of why I wanted more of the aberrations, the red normal enemies. Just because stuff like stasis is so limited in its use that, yes, there are big enemies where that'll really help. But a lot of the time, it's kind of hard to remember to use it. And it's kind of rough to sit here and be like, oh, hang on, let me use my non-damaging ability currently when I can just open fire. I was really hoping to hit him. Well, it looks like my summons just kind of got everything locked down, except for the flying guys. I do miss the turret ability in Remnant 1, but I also understand that power is stupidly powerful. And can you imagine running that, plus the slow, plus engineer and summoner? Because the turret counts as a summon. So you could have 3 things that count as class summons, giving you, with the one ring, 18% damage reduction. Then you have 2 extra turrets just mowing guys down. Celerity Stone increases consumable and relic use speed. It's okay. Once again, there are cases for boosting your use speed, especially when you're trying to continually pop relics for boss fights on harder difficulties. It's just... it's a very niche use case, and I will always be kind of wary of going that route in a build. Mostly because it's like, okay, I can probably find a ring that'll give me, like, damage or better survivability. And in those cases, I would rather take less damage or deal more damage over be able to use an item faster. There's a ring that's really good that gives you like a 1% chance to get... what was it? 1% chance to automatically reset your skill cooldowns, which is really good if you're running... it's a part of one of the high-end builds where you run Engineer and Archon, because then you have an amulet that gives you 2 charges of your abilities, but it increases your cooldowns by a lot. So you run that, the turret gets like double ammo so it'll just stay up for ages, and when you use relics, you regain ammo. So you can just keep it up, pop relics to get whatever boosts you need, keep filling that with ammo. You use the shooting lightning ability, and you're landing crits, which have a chance to then reset the cooldown, and it's a whole song and dance. It's definitely an interesting option. I've looked at it for doing like a shield medic build, because then if I could sit there, find ways to stack my crit chance so that I can keep getting resets, I can just keep shielding. But that idea is still very much in an experimental phase. I've yet to really hammer down a solid build. Plus, it's like every build in this game, it boils down to, can you find the items? You could sit there and hunt for one item for days, potentially, and just not get the right roll. I've accidentally gotten into groups while playing this where it's some guy trying to get a certain item or a certain dungeon spawn, and he would like spawn in. It was on Yaesha. We'd spawn in, he would sprint to like one location. If it didn't spawn, he'd just turn around, sprint the other way, go to the crystal, go back to Ward 13, reset, and just keep doing that. And I eventually just quit because I wasn't gonna sit around for hours when I don't even know what the guy's looking for. Okay. So we got 2 dungeons. Yeah, because that door we can't open. Yeah. We can't. I had to stop and think. I was like, was there another crystal? Yeah, there was. That's locked and we have to pop out the other way. So we'll head back to this dungeon and go clear that. Alright, let's see what this dungeon is. Oh, yeah, this is easy. Kind of easy. Or... Great, now I have to think which dungeon this is, because I think it's one, but it might be a different one, because this layout feels different. Vestige of Power. That is... Okay, increase ranged and melee damage by 10% if you're not damaged for 7 seconds. Very specific. Also, where is my summon? I'll have to just sit and wait and regain him. Okay, yeah, no, this is... Yep, this is standing out. Second I saw the cannonball, I was like, oh yeah, I remember this place. Yeah, he is definitely worth slowing down. That cannon is very dangerous. I've had those guys just start rapid firing those cannons and they will drop you. Especially if you're getting chased by anything else at the same time. But I see a crystal. More luminite, which we still need a lot of. If I wanted to, I could just pop a relic and instantly get it back. I'm just lazy. It's the video game hoarder mentality kicking in real bad. Sitting here going, oh yeah, I could use that, but what if I need it later? And so you end up sitting on all your heals, using like a small heal ability out of fear that you're gonna need 8 relics within a extremely short time frame and that you're somehow not gonna regen any. Oh yeah, I remember this place. Yep. Yep. This is interesting for sure. Yeah, this is another... There's a guide to it up around here, but I'm gonna definitely just pull up a proper written guide because it's a little confusing and I'm slow. Okay. Had to look it up because there's 2 puzzles to this. One you can do solo, one you need a second person. So you have to first have a friend if you want the second reward, but for the other one... Yeah, because you need to do the top and bottom rows at the same time. But we will be doing this one. It's actually easier to see this way. So it's 3rd floor, 2nd floor, ground floor, 3rd floor. So that's just reload speed. Not the greatest, but if you have a big magazine weapon or a slow reload, that works. And then the other one you can get is I think it's the big band ring, or it's the band, let me see. Yeah, band ring, which is increases speed of revive, and being revived by 35% increases downed health and down movement speed by 100%. So it's okay. It's a co-op ring, so it makes sense that you can only get it in co-op. It's kind of useless if you're solo. I mean, there is one use, and that is if you're running the dog trainer, because the dog can revive you if it's your, like, primary, like, perk here, your prime. Yeah, primary prime redundancy. But yeah, that's the only other way, and I don't think it's that useful, even if you're running that kind of build where your dog's just picking you up. It's also kind of a horrendous crutch if you have to rely on your dog to revive you. Because that's just chewing up a ton of relics, potentially. I've had guys who, they just ate all of their relics reviving themselves with their dog. And it was like, nah, I don't want to revive a guy who just keeps going down. Oh, he's dead. Okay. Okay, throw your heart. Yeah, that's his heart. You can deal damage otherwise, but it's like piddly damage. You won't believe how long it took me to figure that one out. I had a friend tell me, he's like, oh, were you shooting the heart? And I was like, he has a heart? And my friend was like, yeah, when he throws it, that's the weak point. I was like, oh, I just sat there and burned all my ammo just plinking him to death. I didn't know there was a better way. Who knew? Yeah, and this place has a lot of, like, secret areas and goofy bits to it. There's a couple bosses that can spawn, like aberrant bosses. Good amount of stuff. Yeah, I was trying to like bait him into the explosion to blow himself up, and yeah, I did a lot of goofy stuff trying to get the kills for those. But I'm here to tell you there's an easy way. There's so much stuff in this dungeon. I'm just quickly looking over. Because I've only run this like twice. Because it's such a peculiar dungeon. And every time I'm here on Yaesha, helping people, I'm never in this dungeon. I will get like Twisted Chantry a ton. I'll get some other locations. I don't think this door opens this way. Yeah. I get like the same 4 or 5 locations just time after time, but this is never one. We're at boss checkpoint. Oh yeah, because this is the... Hang on, this could be a couple different things. Okay, yeah, there is a ton to this place. Endyar's Endless Loop. After sprinting, gain health regen per second until you stop sprinting. Kinda useless. But, yep. There is this. Which is... fun experience. Having a little maze dungeon here, including a boss. And we'll just try to roll. Yeah, that's part of the problem. The doors will kill you, and if he summons a ton of garbage, then you don't really have time to beat him or to get through, because they're just ankle biters. I love how the summons... Oh, there we go. I was gonna say, they will summon themselves and, like, teleport everywhere, but then when you need them to be somewhere, the game is just like, nah. Okay, Vampire Blade. That gives us, I think, yeah, increases melee damage while within 10 meters of a bleeding enemy. Against bleeding targets, you get lifesteal. So there are builds you can do that are dedicated to lifesteal that you can make work. Oh yeah, there's also dart traps. Yep, and some of these lead only one direction. Yeah, so that's just the exit, which we'll just kind of loop through, but want to go back in. This is a neat little dungeon. The obvious problem being it kind of sucks solo, because if you're with someone else, you can have someone just sit on the door and then you just hold it for the other person. Don't need to go that way. And there's probably logic to these symbols. I don't know it. Ooh, the Krellax. Yeah, that's good. That's a good one. So, this is one of the weapons I was talking about where you can just sit there and whip it at someone. That's a fun one. We might upgrade to that. Even though it's a big damage down, it is still fun. And if you're not doing stuff for fun, then what are you doing it for? This is also a dungeon I haven't had other players in, and I'm kind of glad I haven't, because this would get really annoying trying to get multiple people to agree on a direction and go in the direction without dying. Okay, so that's our exit. Tempest Conduit gives us... After receiving elemental damage, increases all damage dealt by 10% and resistance to received element by 20 for 20 seconds. I guess? That kind of works. I could maybe see something, but there is a good chance your build results in you having to shoot yourself. Which, when your builds rely on just, like, self-damage, those kind of suck. I thought that was the invisible wall.
Yeah, I could use that.
This is a good heart. So, this one does 80 health over 0.5 seconds. This one does 23 health every 3 seconds. So, it's 23 health over half a second every 3 seconds in an area of 7 meters, and it lasts 15 seconds. So you get more healing off this, it's just spaced out. I like using it. Yeah, you don't get as much off the rip, but you do get a bit of sustain in a way. Something like the Crystal Heart is good too, but that one you lose half your movement speed, so that one you have to really weigh it out. You do get 25% damage reduction, but you gotta ask yourself, is it worth it? Which is a huge thing in the end. Alright, and then there's a couple other spots around here. Oh, hello. Of course you dodged that. Where is my summon? I kinda need him to tank. And I got Root Rot, of course. And of course my summon is just like off in the void, just fiddling around. And I can't rest because I'm in combat. Can't shoot because I'm coughing. Yeah, I really hate Root Rot. I think it's kind of a douchebag kind of design. Because, as a player, it only hurts you. Enemies are unaffected, so it's built just as a punishment. And I think that's very poor design. That's why, like, suppression is dumb. It's why radiation in the first game was trash. Because it exists just to hurt the player. Okay, you know what? Screw it. Summon goes away, because he's apparently just playing with himself. And, when you look at Root Rot, you also lose part of your stamina bar. Let's try something quick. Can we... We'll just favorite all these. Oh, I don't have the ring. Never mind. I was gonna say, can we use that ring that prevents Root Rot and just put it on? Yeah, let's sit back down and try to do this properly without getting screwed. Because we kind of have to go back through, because there's some ledges that can be found. Because we gotta find climbable ledges. A climbable ledge with pots. And there's a hole behind them. Yeah, because we never found the backside to that. I just realized that we never found the back door. Yeah, this is gonna be a exploration time kind of run. You know what? I'm gonna clear the dungeon again, and then once that's done, I'll cut back and we'll actually find the spots where you need to find. So, I cleared the dungeon, went through everywhere, checked to see the locations, and we kind of got a bad roll. Part because to get that one-way door open, you need two people. One person has to stand at the beginning of the maze, and another person has to get to the end, and by standing on that first tile, it opens up another way. But because we're solo, I can't do that. I don't have anything that can actually hold it down. Summons don't hold down the pressure plate. Turrets don't hold down the pressure plate. It is strictly players. There's a hidden wall in the waterfall room, but we didn't get that spawn. So we didn't get any of the extra loot. We didn't get the extra boss. we didn't get any of the extra fun stuff. So we got a relatively bare bones version of the dungeon. But that is all for now. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to hit the like button, it helps out the channel a lot, and if you haven't already, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.